Welcome back. Now in our previous two classes, we discussed about Shruti and Smriti. Shruti is about the apaurushaya Vedas, which means the user manual given to humans from God. It is the basic principle of our life. These principles are formulated as rules, rights and duties through Smriti. Then the third category we have is puranams. Today, what happens every day is documented through newspapers. Many believe newspaper was the invention of Europeans and the first newspaper started in Venice in 1566. However, the concept of documenting the events and creating an archive of such events existed in our Indian knowledge system long ago, and the set of documented references to various events are what we call as puranams. Puranams contain both factual and also some conceptual stories put forth by many munis and maharshis, especially Maharshi Vedavyasa. They are categorized basically based on the fields in which the events have occurred. Basically, puranams are segregated into 10 sections. They are Sargah Purana. This contains events and documentation about the creation of our solar system. Visargah Puranam. This is all about the creation of planets. Vruthi Puranam. This is about the evolution of life. Raksha Puranam. This is all about the sustainability of nature. Antarani. This is about the history of time and measurement of time. Vamsa. This is about the family trees of various human species. Even today you can see this practice of recording their family tree in most of the Indian families. Vamsanucharita is all about the rulers, kings and dynasties. For example, in our fourth session, we discussed about Bhagiratha and were able to find out that he was the 43rd ruler in Ishkwaku family. Tracing any ruler or king in all our Puranas is possible. Because of this Purana, we can precisely know when exactly Rama ruled our land. Vamsanucharita makes us find that Krishna in Mahabharata was from a family called King Hetu, and Pandavas and Kauravas were from the family of King Puru. Samstha is all about natural calamities that has occurred. Hetu is about the prime causes for these calamities. And finally we have apasarayah, which is about superhumans and the history of great people. Apart from these 10 categories of documentation, Maharshi Vedavyasa has documented all events through his 18 puranams. It is believed that God Vishnu made his appearance on this earth to save it from disasters 9 times. And these 9 avatars of Vishnu are documented in Matsya Puranam, in which Vishnu appeared in the form of fish. We know that the first ever human on our land was Manu, and when this Manu was in trouble, he was saved by Vishnu through Matsavatar, and this is documented in Matsya Purana. The next avatar of Vishnu was Kurma, where he got incarnated as tortoise, and this Kurma avatar of Vishnu is documented in Kurma Purana. Third is Varahavatara. To save earth, God took the shape of Varaha, that is the form of boar or wild pig. This avatar is documented in Varaha Purana. The fourth incarnation of Vishnu was Narasimha, with the head of lion and the body of a human, and it was recorded in Vishnu Purana of Maharshi Vedavyasa. The fifth incarnation of Vishnu is Vamana, and this is depicted in Vamana Purana of Vedavyasa. Similarly, the other avatars and other historical events are recorded in the remaining Markandeya Purana, Bhagavata Purana, Bhavishya Purana, Brahmanda Purana, Brahma Purana, Brahma Vaivarita Purana, Vayu Purana, Agni Purana, Narada Purana, Padma Purana, Linga Purana, Garuda Purana and Skanda Purana. Now, if you come to Puranas, the 10 segments of Puranas define events. They are just a piece of information. Vedavyasa then added an essence to these events, and that essence was emotions. When emotions was added to these events in Puranas, it became what we today call as literature. So the 10 segments of documented contents are just informations, but Vedavyasa added emotions to it and created literature through his 18 puranams. The 18 puranams of Vedavyasa is the world's first ever documented literature, and it taught humans how to narrate events as stories and make it interesting to humans. The world's first storyteller is none other than Vedavyasa. So Vedavyasa is the scholar who gave birth to literature in human race. He converted mere news into literature by adding 9 emotions to the events. He defined that humans interact with nature through 9 emotions. Basically, these 18 Puranas of Vedavyasa deals with human emotions. Vedavyasa was the first to formulate the theory of emotions in humans. According to Vedavyasa, humans interact with the world through their 9 different states of emotions. They were again termed as rasas by another Maharshi called Bharata Muni in a different literature called as Natya Shastra. They were Shringara Rasa, meaning love, Hasya, meaning laughter or happiness, Karuna means kind or compassionate, Raudra means anger, Veera means courage, Bhayanaka means fear, Bibhatsya means disgusted, Adbhuta means wonder, and Shanta means peaceful. However, the basic principles of these emotions were defined by Vedavyasa in his 18 Puranams. For example, the most precious emotion in human is love, and it was first formulated by Vedavyasa. The world's first love story is the story of Lord Srinivasa and Padmavati, documented by Vedavyasa in Bhavishya, Skanda and Vishnu Puranas. Lord Balaji of Tirumala in Tirupati, Andhra Pradesh is the symbol of love. It is said that Taj Mahal is the symbol of love. But in reality, the real symbol of love is Lord Balaji and Padmavati in Tirumala. And today, the value of love in this world can be known by the popularity of this temple. It is the temple which draws the highest number of pilgrims in an year, drawing nearing 75,000 to 1 lakh pilgrims every day. Just like love, Puranas of Vedavyasa contains references to all the 9 emotions that humans use to experience life. Principles comes from Vedas. They are conceptualized into rules and regulations in Smriti, and its practical applications are presented through historical references and stories in Puranams. Then the 4th category of our knowledge system is Itihasam. Itihasam is the subject social studies of today. It basically deals with historical events that happened in our land and also its precise geographical locations. Itihasam consists of 2 great literatures, Ramayanam and Mahabharatam. When it comes to Ramayanam and Mahabharatam, they are not just historical documents, but they are the most precious contribution of Maharshi Valmiki and Sri Vedavyasa to the field of literature. Ramayanam is considered as a unipolar literature and Mahabharatam is considered as a multipolar literature. What is the difference? Well, in Ramayana, the author defines us that there is one good man called Rama and another bad man called Ravan. So the story is unidimensional as the entire story shows the greatness of Rama and how an ideal human needs to behave under various circumstances, and how an ideal human has to maintain his different role in relationships, like an ideal son, ideal husband, ideal ruler, ideal father. It is all about seeing or reading the story from the perspective of a single hero, Ram. However, the beauty of Mahabharata is that there is no single hero or single villain. There are no specific set of rules here to be good or to be bad. Mahabharata is just a collection of events. Now you can go through these events from the perspective of various characters. For example, if you take Krishna as hero and go through the literature, the events unfold with a different perspective. If we take Dharmaraya as the hero and go through the events, then the perception of the story changes. So the events remain the same, but the perception changes when we see it through the eyes of various characters in these events. Even the bad people, you have Duryodhana, and from his perspective, the events look different. When we see it from the perspective of Shakuni, the same events appears with a different perception. Again, from the perception of Kamsa, the events look different. And so this is one of the rarest of rare literature where you have multiple perspective experience of a set of events by seeing the events from various perspectives of characters. Many literates, authors and great novelists have tried to make a multipolar literature, but none are as successful as Vedavyasa of Mahabharata. So Mahabharata is not just a religious or historical document. It is one of the finest literature, and its contribution to the world of literature is magnanimous. Now with this, we shall conclude this session. We now have discussed with Shruti, Smriti, Puranam and Itihasam. We are left with Agamas and Siddhantam, and let us discuss it in our next session. Thank you.